Hey, it's Michael Edward, creator of How to Crush Your Mental Blocks in 4 Weeks, which is a course that teaches you how to get out of when you're stuck. You know, when you're trying to make some progress, reach your level of success, and you're stuck. That course is to help you identify the blocks and how to crush them. All right? Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of a different topic today. Today, we're going to discuss a little bit more on the human development side of things. So, you see, as a personal development coach, it is my life ambition is to teach you how the skills and habits and so forth that you need in order to reach your level of success. For different people, the level of success is a different thing. But it always boils down to the same thing in the end. For example, you may want more money, you may want a nicer home, you may want the spouse of your life, right? Love your life. You may want a new car. You may want to have more vacations. Generally speaking, most of the time what we want, a rewarding career, right? Everybody wants a rewarding career instead of just a humdrum job. And this is why you're here. This is why you're listening to me. This is why you sought me out. Is because there's something in your life that you want to improve. I congratulate you for that. I commend you for that. I think that's a great ambition. I think it's a great goal. And I think we should never stop trying to reach for that goal. All right? There's always more to learn. There's always more to develop. There's always more skills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what do all these things have in common? They have in common is to make you a happier person, to make you feel better, feel good, right? Really, when you think about it, that's our ultimate goal. And I think you'll agree with me on that, that everything we do is so that we can have more satisfying and live happily ever after, as the old nursery rhymes would say. But this video here, I want to talk about human and technology, humanity, humanity or technology. And what I'm getting at here is this constant battle that we're having between technology and human interaction. Now, I've said for years, and I'm not talking about any kind of studies on this or anything like that, but just off the top of my head, I've said decades ago that television can be a negative thing in the house and help lead to unsatisfactory relationships and so on and so forth. And you know, it used to be way back that you'd watch a TV in the living room. Everybody watched the same show, and you only had one TV. And then we ended up with TVs everywhere, and you know, every room of the house, even the kitchen, for goodness sakes, has a television. So people are watching TV, and there's less human interaction, right? And with less human interaction comes less human stimulation on all levels, right? Relationships start to die. You're not paying attention to each other, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now we have it even worse. We have technology in the palm of our hand that was just unbelievable. You know, you couldn't even consider this years ago, right? And how are we dealing with it? I don't think we're dealing all that great with it, quite frankly. And I think that we are losing even more of our humanity. And I've got five or 6 points, 5 points I'm going to cover today that will help explain what I'm talking about and give you some pointers to try and regain your level of humanity. And no, you can't control what other people do. I realize that. But you can control what you do. You have full control over what you do. And here's the types of things that I want to cover with you. Here's what I want to help you with so that you can take better control of your humanity and how you interact with humans. Number one, the first hour of your day, and I'm not talking about the first hour of the day when your feet hit the floor and so on, although this is included, but the first productive hour of your day, do not ever check your emails. Do not check social media. Do not check your texts. Just stay away from all of that for the first productive hour of your day, and make that hour very, very useful. Make it proactive. Because you see, if you go into your email right away, email is reactive, right? You read a message, you got to respond. You read a message, you got to respond. Same thing with social media. You go into social media, and so said such and such. Now you got to respond, right? You got and the same thing with your text message. Somebody sends you a text message, you're obligated to respond, right? So it's all reactive, 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 reactive. You need to spend the first hour of your day to be proactive and think about what it is you want to achieve that day. What are your priorities that day? What is going to take you closer to your dream? What are the absolute things that must be done? And who do you need to contact to move something forward? If you're waiting for something from somebody to complete a project or what have you, you need something to move forward. That's the person you're going to contact first. You see what I'm saying? You're going to turn this into a productive planning session for the rest of your day. Now you go to your emails and so forth, and you screen your emails and so forth by the most important people. So, example, if you're waiting for Joe to get back to you, then you sort your emails and you look at Joe. Is Joe there? No. He hasn't responded yet. Okay. Who's the next person I needed? Check that person. Then you can filter through your emails. And you need to completely stay away from social media. I mean, really. Excuse me. You need to stay away from the stuff in the first hour of your day anyway to be productive, right? Now, I know some people are going to tell me, but geez, Michael, this is what I do for a living. And if I'm not engaging with my people, okay, there are always exceptions. But the thing is you have to decide for yourself whether it is truly an exception or just an obsession. There's the big one, right? Is it addiction or is it an exception? Okay, number two. Number two talks about, let me see now, what is number two? Yes, the last hour of the day. We got your first hour of the day, now let's get the last hour of the day. The last hour of the day, you shut off all the electronics in the last hour. I don't mean the last 10 minutes of the last hour, I mean hour, all right? If you're going to bed around 10 o'clock, shut everything down at 9 o'clock, put everything on charge, don't check in anymore, you're done. And the reason is because when you are looking at a screen, it triggers some neural processes, and when you're responding and so forth, it drips dopamine, which is a drug, which is what pumps us up and so forth, gets us excited and everything, and it puts that in your system, and it interrupts your sleep. So even if you turn off your device and you say, Michael, I'm great, man, I go to sleep right away. Yeah, but how restful is the sleep? And it's probably not as restful. And if you doubt me, just try it. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to hurt you. Just try it. Try it. Try it. Shut off everything. Put it on charge. And for an hour before you go to bed, this is a great time for some human interaction, pet interaction, whatever. Plan your next day. Write down your goals again, right, which you should be doing all the time anyway, and reevaluating your goals because they change, and because you accomplish them, then you need a new goal, right? Anyway, use the last hour of the day to unwind, to take it easy, and enjoy yourself. Reflect on the day that you just had. See what you did well, see what you could improve on for tomorrow, etc., etc. All right? That's the last hour of the day. Number three is when you're in a human interaction, I mean face-to-face with a human, arm's distance. Yeah, you can probably smell the perfume, cologne, or lack thereof. Do not reach for your device, your phone, your whatever, or pads or whatever you got. Do not reach for them. A, it's rude. B, you cannot focus on the human in front of you while you're looking at a screen. And yes, I know a lot of people will say, absolutely I can. I talk to people, they're looking at their screen, they catch less than half of what I'm saying, and I have to repeat everything to them. And it's frustrating, it's annoying, and frankly, I don't even want to repeat anything because they weren't paying attention to me. Why? They certainly don't make me feel important, certainly don't make me feel needed. Why would I bother, really? And if you can't go through a meal without checking in, or Pablo's dogs, right? You got that ding, goes the text or whatever, and you immediately start salivating and grab for that phone to see who texted me. Wow, look at this. You know, no. Go through the meals, shut it off, mute it, put it aside, throw it in a different room, whatever. But just don't do it. Don't do it. You know what I'm talking about? You go into a restaurant and you look around and you see a couple there, and one or both of them are on their phones. They're not even paying attention to each other. Now, I know that there are emergencies. Again, you know, people are going to say, oh, Michael, you have no idea what I'm up against, and I have to... Oh, come on, man, come on. Exceptions are exceptions. And yes, I personally have done this. I will be talking to somebody, and I have different sounds assigned to different people. So my parents, I know when they phone me, which they barely ever do, that's why they're a priority, because if they phone me, there's a reason. And my sons, I have their text sounds separate from everybody else, and I know which one's which, so that when I hear that sound, I know that they probably need something, because we don't just text each other to chat. We get together and we have a meal now and then, but we don't chat back and forth. So those are sort of my priorities that I will say to whoever I'm talking with. I won't interrupt a meal, mind you, but I will say to whoever I'm talking with, can you please excuse me? I think my son just sent me a text and I want to check in with him to make sure everything's okay. There's nothing wrong with that if you do it once. But again, bing, check, bing, excuse me, bing, check. You're constantly checking your phone while you're trying to while somebody's trying to have a conversation with you, whatever. It does not work. Get back to the humanity, get away from the technology to some degree, all right? Take it into perspective. Number four is, here's a real challenge for you. If you think that's tough, here's a real tough one for you. Leave the device at home a few days a month. A few days a month. All I'm asking is a few days a month. All right? Leave it at home a few days a month. And if you think that you are so vitally important that you can't be disturbed for a day, then there's something really wrong. There's something really wrong. You haven't structured things quite correctly. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that, for example, if somebody sends you an email and you give them a response right away, you're training them to expect a response right away. All right? And most of the time, I have certain people that I do respond to as close to right away as I can. But that sometimes isn't until the next day. It just depends on what I have on my plate. Depends on what I have going. Depends on whether I'm avoiding technology that day, just so I can get my head into the game again. So I can get my head into what is really important to me. All right? And sometimes it'll be a day. And I'll say the next day, sorry it took me so long to get a hold of you, but hey, get back to you, but hey, you know what? I just wanted to take my time and give you a response you deserved, so on and so on. So try that. At the very least, mute your phone so that only the most important people can get a hold of you, and that will never be social media. That will never be any of the lesser important things, and never be an email. It would only be a phone call. And you tell the most important people in your life, if you really need me, if you send me a text and I don't get back to you within whatever amount of time is reasonable to you, then call me, all right? Because I may have my phone muted, all right? Make a deal with people. Make them understand that you're not going to be just right there all the time. But if you're really needed, then they can call you. And I think on my phone, I know I have emergency override. that even when my phone is muted, if this person calls, they get through anyway. It'll still ring. All right. And again, I have my parents set up for that. I don't even know if I have anybody else set up, but I have my parents set up for that because they never call, and if they do, it's probably not going to be good. So, I have them set up. Now, that brings us then is to number 5. Number 5, if you can't handle number 4, by leaving the phone home for a few days a month. A few days a month. Sure, you can handle that. Number 5 is go for a walk. Leave your phone at home, or at least turn it off. I mean power that sucker off, and go for a walk. 30 minutes to 60 minutes. I tell this for so many different reasons. I tell this in various courses that I teach, and certainly in some of the other shows that I've done. I talk about the importance of going for a walk. In this case, in Humanity or Technology, what I'm talking about right now is I want you to go for a walk and enjoy what you see. Instead of looking down, your head down, you know, running into people, looking like a moron, hitting into the poles and walking out into the traffic and so on and so on. Look up and look at people, meet their eyes, smile at them, enjoy the walk. See the flowers, see the trees. If you can, get into some sort of a nature type idea. If you get close to water, that's wonderful. Walking along a beach, whatever. If you can get into some bush, great. Enjoy it. But even if you're in, even if you're in the city and there's really nothing around you, just go for a walk. Go for a coffee. Grab a book, right? And I tell you, if I could see, I'd be reading books with my hands all the time. I'm talking about the print books with the pages that you physically turn, right? That's what I'm talking about. And I would be doing that all the time because to me, there's just something really cool about holding a book and having a book in your hand. And there's just something about getting away from the screens. I don't have the choice. I'm bound to the screens. But at least I can read a book, and at least I can let my mind wander, and at least I can grow and develop and learn through reading the books just as you can. Now, if you're in, say, a coffee shop, something like that, and you're reading your book, and you're looking around at the people, just do this. And yes, it's going to feel really weird at first. I know it is, because you don't have your phone in your hand. You're addicted to the phone in your hand. You don't hear the bing, bing, bing going off. But you will get used to it, and in fact, you will enjoy it. Do that once a week, at least once a week. Go for a walk every day if you can, and leave the phone on your desk, whatever. And go for a walk once a day if you can, but go to the coffee shop, sit down, read a book once a week or more, but once a week, absolute minimum, and just make it part of, I don't know, Sunday routine, right? Every Sunday, I'm going to go down to the coffee shop, I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to enjoy it, right? And I'm going to enjoy looking at people. And when you're people watching, enjoy how they smile, how they interact, and observe when they are doing what I've told you all the way through this video. When they are not interacting because they're looking at their technology and so forth. All right? Enjoy and observe it. Observe it. It's like, wow, they're not on their first date, man. No way. If you're out on your first date, man, you're not going to be looking at the phone. I know I sure as hell wouldn't, but you can you imagine going out on your first date and spending most of the coffee visit or the first dinner or whatever on the phone? Well, why would that be any different than your 100th date? Why would that be any different than your 1000th date, right? Interact. Enjoy human interaction. Love who you're with, right? You know my saying is enjoy every day, love as much as you can, and succeed. All right? Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Do whatever is appropriate here. You know, subscribe to the channel. Follow my Facebook stuff. Just hop in there on the blog. Love everything I do because I love everything I do for you. All right? So, enjoy, love, succeed.